Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the EP Hellion by the band Hellion. This was originally released in 1983, and it was their debut EP. So before I get into the songs, I'm going to name off the band members really quick. Alan Barlam on lead guitar, Ann Boleyn on vocals, Sheen Kelly on drums, Ray Shiznak on lead guitar, and Bill Sweet on bass. So the EP opens up with the song Backstabber. Really great opening track. It has a really cool main riff that it's very simplistic but very catchy. It's kind of like a very cool chugging riff. It has also a really cool sort of chorus where it starts off with just Ann Boleyn singing the chorus, and then it kicks into like backing vocals, which I don't know if they're like the rest of the band members singing or it's just Ann Boleyn dubbing over herself, because the backing vocals kind of sound like her, but also maybe not. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but it's just a really cool sort of add-on effect with the main vocals going on. And I love sort of the rapid-fire delivery of some of the. I don't know if it's technically a chorus or whatever, but there's this really cool bit within the chorus. That's sort of a rapid-fire kind of thing where it's just a really good sort of fast-paced bit before it kind of slows down into the more, I guess what you could call the main chorus. I don't know. But it's just a really cool, like, overall vocal delivery on the song as a whole. I love the sort of changing pace between the more faster-paced parts of the chorus, and then it slows down a bit. And also, like I said, really good guitar riff. And the solo is pretty cool too. The solo is, I wouldn't say melodic, but it has sort of a slight melody to it. And it's kind of short, but also it kind of fits with the sort of somewhat fast-pacedness of the song. But yeah, really great song and really great way to start off the EP. Alright, so the next song is called Fire, which it's the only song on here I do not like. It's just very boring and forgettable, and it's pretty much just a filler track. Now, the interesting thing is that Fire was not originally on here. I mean, this is a 1986 re-release, and the early versions, like I bet pretty much every version before this did not have that song. It was actually first introduced on this version, and you could very much tell it was sort of like a last minute thing. Like they were thinking of maybe putting like an extra song or two on, and they came up with this song. Now I'm not sure if this song was recorded on the spot as sort of like a bonus track for here, or if they already recorded it before and just happened to decide to put it on here. But yeah, it's just a filler track. It feels like a filler track. It's very boring, and it does feel like they just kind of cobbled it on here. And sort of added it on here in the last added it on here at the last minute. There we go. But yeah, Fire, very forgettable, and really the only song on here I don't like. Next up is the song Up From the Depths, which is, I'd say, my favorite song on here. This one is interesting because it's another one that wasn't on the initial version from '83. Now, it was on two re-releases prior, but yeah, it's another one that was added on, later on later releases. But yeah, it's probably the most epic song on here. Now, I don't know, it feels like it, but I don't know if it is the longest song on here. Mainly because with the track listing, there's no timestamps. so you can't really, look at this for reference and see like, oh, this is, this song's that long, or that song's that long, or whatever. But just judging by listening to it and with memory comparing the length of other songs, I think this might be the longest one, but I'm not entirely sure. It does feel like the epic of the EP, like, it does, have that sort of epic nature to it, and it does feel like it is, I guess, intended to be the epic of the EP, but I don't know. So, it's very, I don't know, it's very out of place, but very welcomed at the same time, like, so, I'm just gonna get into the description of the song. I don't know why I'm rambling on, but anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, Up From the Depths is very, very cool. It has sort of like an opening riff that I'd say is probably my second or third favorite riff on the entire record. It's a very cool, very slow, chugging, sort of heavy riff. And it goes into this really cool, like, chorus bit, but then the song picks up even more so, and then it goes into this really cool, very melodic solo, probably my favorite solo on the entire EP. It's just very great, very melodic. I think it might be the longest, one of, if not the longest solo. Now, considering it's not super, super long, but considering most of the solos on, this EP are pretty short. This one, it just feels a little bit longer, but kind of, even though it's longer, I do think it fits because the song is probably, again, one of the longest songs on here. Yeah, just a very cool melodic solo. Then the EP, sorry, not the EP, the song slows down a bit, and sort of has a sort of very, like, doomy sort of feel to it. Not doom metal, but it kind of has a very, atmospheric doomy sound to it. And then it sort of picks up again with this really cool riff. Now, it's not the same riff as in the beginning. I don't think the riff comes back. But this riff is a bit more fast-paced, a bit more rhythm-oriented, I guess. This riff basically is sort of like an extension of the vocals in this part of the song, where the vocals are kind of a little bit more fast-paced than the rest of the vocals on the rest of the song, and sort of the riff with that, the second riff, the faster-paced riff, works very well in tandem with the faster vocal delivery on near the end of the song, during that part. And then it also goes into a second guitar solo. Now, I wouldn't say it's as epic as the first guitar solo, but it's still very, very good and very memorable. Yeah, great song. It feels like the epic of the EP. It's a very good epic feeling song. And it just has a really cool sort of nature to it. Like, I love how it sort of shifts and changes. Like, it goes from more like very, slow-paced, epic, to more of a faster, up-tempo type later on, slows down a bit, and then speeds up again. I just love the ever-changing nature of just the musicality and rhythm of this song. Again, as well as the epic nature of it as well, and Anne Boleyn's vocals are great, But yeah, Up From the Depths, great song. The next song is called Break the Spell, which was another song that was added a little later. Again, the original 83 version only had 4 songs, but then there was a version that came out, the same year, a little bit later, that had a couple more songs, and then another one later on that had a couple more, and then this one. But yeah, Break the Spell is another one that wasn't, on the original initial release. But honestly, it should have been. This song is probably my second favorite on here. It's a shorter song, but it's very memorable. It's very fast-paced. has a really good sort of gruff, sort of snarly vocal performance by Anne Boleyn. Just a very sort of rough, raw kind of song with a really cool guitar solo. And it's also kind of, I love how in the chorus bit, it kind of has sort of an epic nature to it. Not like over the top, but it's very subtle, but it's there. I don't really know how to describe it that well, but I love the chorus. It's just a really cool sort of like up-tempo, but also kind of slightly, I guess, epic kind of. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know why, but this fits kind of a lot more. Like I said before, the song "Fire," it was a added later on, but and then I was like, oh yeah, that it still sucks. But for whatever reason, like break the spell, even though it was also an add-on, it fits a lot better than "Fire," honestly. But yeah, break the spell was great. Next song is called "Driving Hard." This is actually one of the original 4 songs on the very first version of this EP. Very cool. It kind of has sort of like a, I don't want to say like slow, but kind of a bit more laid back feel to it. Like, it's not as fast paced as like Break the Spell. It's not as epic as Up From the Depths. It's not as like razor sharp and like sort of like raw as Backstabber, but it's just a very cool sort of more laid back kind of, I wouldn't say chill, but it's just a more laid back sort of mid-tempo song that has a very cool, simplistic, almost cheesy kind of chorus, but it fits very, very well. It's just one of those songs that is just, I don't know, it's just made to just, kind of like, as sort of like a slow down bit, because the other couple songs before it were a bit more, out there. But yeah, this one is really, really cool. I love sort of the rhythmic sort of riffing, and the solo is also pretty good. Not as good as some of the other songs on here, but it's still pretty good. But yeah, pretty good, more laid back kind of song. And then the last song is called "Don't Take No for an Answer." This one, I guess, is kind of similar to "Driving Hard." Now, it's not more of a laid-back song, but it does feel like more of like a casual song, kind of like "Driving Hard," where it's not like it's not like over the top or speedy or epic or anything. But it's also kind of, I think it has sort of like a more like up-tempo nature to it than "Driving Hard." But yeah, it's just a very cool sort of like chill song for the most part. And again, great riffing, great solo work, and great vocal work. Also, something I almost forgot to mention though is the bass work. The bass work, the bass playing on these last 2 songs, "Driving Hard" and "Don't Take No for an Answer." I almost forgot to mention this, I don't know why. But the bass work on the last 2 songs is amazing. Now, it's not anything fancy or over the top or anything, but I think it shines more because the fact that for the production, the bass can be heard very, very, very well, and it even shines a lot more on these last 2 songs. Now, the bass, I'm not saying like the bass doesn't, you can't hear it very well in the other songs before it. But these last 2 songs, I think, I don't know. I think, I was going to say, oh yeah. I think the bass on the last 2 songs, I don't know if it's just coincidence or it was intentional, but in terms of musicality, there's a lot more moments where the bass can shine, I guess, where like the other instruments and Anne Boleyn's vocals aren't, sort of slightly burying it in the mix. So I don't know if that's intentional, that the bass has a lot more sort of like room to breathe in these last 2 songs, but it really works because when you hear it, these last 2 songs, the bass has a very, very good tone, very cool, catchy but simplistic rhythm that almost rivals the actual guitar riffs in these last two songs. But now, I know that's just personal preference, but I just love the bass in these last two songs, even slightly more than the guitar work. Yeah, great bass. So before I get into my final thoughts, I just want to show off this awesome artwork really quick. Now, this artwork was not on the original version. In fact, there were, I think, 2 or 3 versions that came out before this. There were two or three versions that came out before this, which all had pretty much the same kind of cover, where it was nothing like this. It was just the logo and a black background. Now, the logo on those versions was similar to this, but slightly different. So you can see the logo here is pretty much a dark orange color, right? Well, the logo on the first 2 versions was sort of an orange yellowish color, and again, just a plain black background, which I don't get. I don't know why they didn't do any artwork, but I got this version mainly because it actually has artwork. Now, I could have gotten the second or third versions with the added songs, but I like those as well. But come on, this artwork is amazing. I absolutely love it. Now, it's hard because I can't tell. Now, this is either it depicts a demon in lava, right? But I can't tell whether it's supposed to depict the demon rising out of the lava or falling into it. You can't really tell one way or the other. But judging by the fact that the one of the arms looks kind of skeletal and kind of burned, you can see the splotches of lava here. I think it's supposed to be depicting the demon falling into the lava. But, yeah, I don't know. But it still looks really cool nonetheless. I love how it's kind of simplistic with the color palette, just orange and black. With, 2 slight different colors of shades of orange. You got the more, dark orange for the lava. And you got the more light orange for the actual demon itself. And then you get some yellow for the eyes and teeth. Very cool design, too. Also, something that I just kind of realized, I don't know if other people think this as well, but this demon thing kind of looks like the creature from the pit from Army of Darkness. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Army of Darkness, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, the scene where Ash gets thrown into the pit and then has to climb his way out, but there's this weird demon creature, a deadite, trying to attack him, along with these walls closing in. I'm not talking about that first creature. I'm talking about the creature that bursts through the cave wall after he defeats the first deadite. That second creature kind of reminds me of that second creature, the one that comes out of the wall. But I don't know if it's just me or other people have kind of made the same sort of thing where they, anyway. But yeah, really cool artwork, really great logo as well, a very iconic and very cool. It stands out. I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Not what I was gonna say, but I completely forgot the word I was gonna use. Unique. There we go. It's a very cool, very unique logo. It stands out very, very well. And the back is also very good. Now, the thing I kind of didn't realize at first, but the back, yeah, sure, there's the track listings, but at the back, there's a bunch of newspaper clippings and stuff. Now, so apparently the reason for this release, or at the very least, one of the reasons, originally was, it says something about, the house. Crap, what was it called again? It wasn't the Omen House. What was it? Oh, Amityville Horror House. It's on the back. It's like a dedication to the Amityville Horror House, which I didn't know this, but it says that it was like demolished in 1982. And sort of like there's like a little like thing here just talking about it and talking about how the band had some live shows in there and some recording sessions as well. And it's basically just overall saying that this EP is sort of a dedication to the memory of the Amityville Horror House. Which, again, like I said, I didn't realize at first. Like, I don't know, I just didn't read this. So, I don't know, I just didn't pay attention. But looking at it now, really, really cool. Anyway, so my final thoughts. Very, very great EP. I love it. Now, I don't know how I would have felt if I heard the early version with only 4 tracks, but, you know, considering this is the only version I've heard, it's really, really good. Now, like I said before, the track Fire is very forgettable, but honestly, that's the only track on here I don't like. Everything else ranges from good to great. And then Up From the Depths is, you know, like I said, my favorite song on here. You know, followed by Break the Spell. But yeah, really, really cool. I love the guitar work. The guitar work is super cool. Some really great guitar solos, even if some are pretty short. Some really amazing riffing. The drumming's good. And then, of course, really amazing bass work, especially on the last 2 songs. And of course, Anne Boleyn's vocals are absolutely amazing. Yeah, very cool. Now, I haven't heard many other, you know, female vocalists in metal sort of have that kind of vocal style. Like, her vocal style is very aggressive, very gruff, raw, and raspy. With again, little hints of like more smooth melodicness in certain sections of certain songs, but you know, for the most part, it's more that raw, gruff, raspy type of vocals, which are very, very cool and very surprising. That like because most, you know, female vocalists, you know, are more of the operatic type, you know, have more of that sort of operatic sort of like I guess well, of course, how do I say that? Feminine, there you go, feminine sort of vocal style, which of course, female vocals, but that's expected, I guess. Again, that's why, like, a lot of female vocalists are more in, like, the, more operatic style of, you know, metal and stuff, but Anne Boleyn's not like that. She has a lot more, like, traditional heavy metal style of vocals, and has a very rough, gravelly, sort of rough, rasp, which is very cool and, you know, very unique. I don't think I've ever heard, you know, another female vocalist in metal have that sort of vocal style. But yeah, very, very cool. And yeah, I think this is a near perfect release. Honestly, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Really, the only issue I have with this thing is the song Fire. But everything else is absolutely amazing. And even though it's kind of hard to find, I highly recommend, if you're into, you know, traditional heavy metal, I highly recommend, you go out and try to at least, you know, maybe even get the CD version if the vinyl's too hard to find, but this is one of the most underrated EPs in my opinion. Very, very good, near perfect. Alright. So, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.